Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tommy. I'm a human nutrition student and researcher at the university. What I do in this type of videos is to synthesize what I learned during the classes at the university. This is the dietetics series of videos, and today we're going to talk about diet creation. So how to indeed create a diet for an individual. So let's begin. So we start with the data of the person. These are the anthropometric data, the habits of the individual, as well as the eating habits. And here, to gather this information, we use the service that we already seen in the diet assessment. Then we do the assessment of the nutritional status, and this is already discussed as well. So, once we have all the data, we calculate the total energy expenditure, and we define a goal. Is it a normal caloric diet to maintain the weight? Is a hypocaloric diet to lower the weight and to lose fat? So this will be a 20 to 30% decrease on the calories, or a hypercaloric diet to gain weight. Then there are also other types of diets focused on macros and macros. So the total energy expenditure comes from the basal metabolism plus the food-induced thermogenesis and the physical activity of the individual. Calculations, we have two methods mainly, the approximate and the semi-approximate. There is also a third one, but it's more tricky to implement, and it's not for everyone. It's mainly for sport athletes. So the approximate is having a formula for the BMR, which can be, for example, Harris-Benedict, and multiply the BMR for the group of activity. For example, 1.3 would be sedentary, 1.5 active, 1.7 very active, and 1.8 super active. These are ranges of groups of activity. And then we have the semi-approximative, which is to multiply the Harris-Benedict formula by each activity we do during the day. For example, in the morning we do mainly light activities, then in the early afternoon a heavy activity, and in the evening a moderate activity. So we multiply by each and every one of these, and then we sum them together. Then we have the calculation of the macros and micros. So we started with the calories, now the macros. Carbs must be 45 to 60% and sugar less than 10% of the calories. This is according to the EFCA. Proteins between 10 and 15%, being 30 to 40% coming from animal protein. Then the fats from 20 to 35%, saturated fats below 10%, polyunsaturated fats from 6 to 10%, and trans fatty acids lower than 1%. The rest are monounsaturated fatty acids. Cholesterol under 300 milligrams per day. Water, 2 liters for women and 2.5 liters for men. Fiber, 25 grams per day. Salt, less than 5 grams per day, which equals to 2 grams of sodium per day. And vitamins and minerals, adaptation to the needs. Basically, here we are going to put more or less vitamins and minerals if the individual is a man, a woman, an adolescent, a sport athlete. It depends. Also, if she is a pregnant woman or in a lactation period. If you want to know more about all the recommendations for the macronutrients and micronutrients for each group of our society, I have made a video called Nutrition in the Life Stages. So go watch that video to learn more about this. Moving on, we have the distribution of daily meals. So we have the energy, the calories, the macros and micros, and now we have to distribute all of that into, let's say, 4 meals, 5 or 6 meals. I'm more fan of 2-3 meals per day, but these are the recommendations for general population. 4 meals would be 30% of the calories in breakfast, 35 in the lunch, 10 as a snack in the afternoon, and 25 in the dinner. 5 meals would be 20% of breakfast, so a little bit less. 10% of snack in the morning, 35% in the lunch, 10% in another snack in the afternoon, and 25% in the dinner. And 6 meals would be 15% of breakfast, 10% of a snack in the morning, 30% of lunch, 15% another snack in the afternoon, 25% in the dinner, and 5% as a snack after dinner. All these recommendations are based here in Spain, because I know that in other countries such as UK, the main meal is not the lunch but the dinner, so the majority of calories go there. So now let's view how to design a diet. So having the energy, the calories, we can convert it into quantities using these numbers right here. So 1 gram of carbohydrates equals 4 calories. Proteins, 4 calories per gram as well. In reality, this is 5.2, but there is the thermogenesis of proteins that indeed will burn 1.2 kilocalories per gram, and therefore it's 4 as well as carbs. Fats, 9 calories per gram. Fiber, 2 calories per gram. Polyalcohols, which are sort of a carbohydrate, 2.4 kilocalories per gram. Alcohol, 7 kilocalories per gram. Organic acids, 3 calories per gram, and salatrim, 6 calories per gram. The salatrim is a special fatty acid. So now we need to follow the recommendations and portions for each and every one of these food groups. Veggies, recommendations here in Spain are more than 3 per day, and the portion is from 150 to 200 grams. Fruits, more than 2-3 per day, 120 to 200 grams. Grains, 3 to 6 portions per day, and the portion is between 40 and 80 grams. Legumes, more than 4 per week, 50 to 60. Nuts, 3 to 7 per week, 30 grams a portion. Fish, more than 3 per week, from 125 to 150 grams per portion. Eggs, less than 4 per week, and the portion is 1 egg. Dairy, less than 3 per day, 200 milliliters of milk, 125 milliliters of yogurt, 40 to 60 grams of cheese, and 80 to 125 grams of fresh cheese. Meat, less than 3 per week, portion of 100 to 125 grams. Tubers, 150 to 200 grams. And olive oil on a daily basis with a portion of 10 milliliters. So now that we know what are the recommendations and portions, and we know exactly what we need to eat in terms of grams of macronutrients and total calories, we have to convert actually those numbers into food. So convert the nutrients into food. And there are many ways to do this. We're going to see the grammage and the homemade food measures, as well as the food equivalence system. But there are also the pre-established protein percentage system and the point system. This is like you have many points in a day and you cannot overpass them. So let's say you have 100 points in a day and you cannot go over 100. Therefore, some food groups such as sweets and sodas and candies and alcohol, things that we shouldn't really eat that much, are going to have more points. Whereas things that are healthy for us will have lower points, so we can eat more of those. The grammage and the homemade food measures, the portions, are indeed the same. What we do is to set the portions in the meals starting with carbohydrates. So we start setting the portions in the meals, these portions of the various food groups, starting with the carbs. And then what we do is to adjust this. So for example, we start with grains and we put some grains in the breakfast, in the lunch, in the snack and in the dinner. Then we go with the veggies, same in lunch and dinner and also in a snack. And then fruits and so on. So we adjust the carbohydrates to the quantity we need. Then we put the proteins and fat as last one. And if we see that adding protein, for example, legumes have also carbohydrates, then we have to adjust again the carbohydrates to get those a little bit down if at the end we don't have a proper adjustment of all the free macros and calories as well. But the main point here is that in the grammage portions method, we set the carbohydrates first. We adjust the carbohydrates first. On the other hand, we have the food equivalence system. These are basically interchangeable foods inside a group using the equivalents. One equivalent of carbs is 10 grams of carbs. One equivalent of proteins is 10 grams as well. And one equivalent of fats is 5 grams. To better understand this, I put here 2 apples equals 1 bread. Why is that? Because let's say that these two equal 10 grams of carbohydrates. Therefore, I can choose to eat either the apples or the bread. because they are interchangeable foods inside the group of carbohydrates. And the same for proteins and fats. I hope you get the idea. How to use equivalents? Well, we first need to add half of the carbs. Then we adjust the protein. So protein first. Then we adjust the fat. And lastly, we adjust the carbohydrates using fruits and sugars. Indeed, this system is very easy to use and applicable to everyone. Indeed, it's self-applicable, and one starts to really understand the composition of the food by comparing the equivalents. And as the last step, we have monitoring the diet. So once the diet is ready, we have to first confirm that it works, that it has all the nutrients, all the proteins, all the carbs, all the fats, and the calories that we calculated for the individual. And then after assigning the diet, we have to monitor if it's optimal for the individual, because maybe our patient doesn't like that much the diet. So we have to correct those sort of things. Now let's talk about hypocaloric diets, because they are very common nowadays. But what is an hypocaloric diet? It's a diet that is at least 800 calories and has a deficit of 500 to 1000 calories per day. But the distribution of micronutrients is similar to the recommendations. The only thing that really changes is the amount of protein. We raise a little bit the amount of proteins to prevent the lean mass loss. Generalities. Well, they must provide a progressive weight loss, losing fat and maintaining the lean mass. They must be mixed and balanced. They must provide all the nutrients in sufficient quantities. And they also must be adapted to the lifestyle and diet of the patient. There are different types of hypocaloric diets. There are the classic hypocaloric diets, for example, the moderately low calorie diets and the very low calorie diets. These ones are for obese and grade 2 overweight. For people that need more than 2000 calories in the moderately low calorie diets, we lower the calories by 500 per day. This will give us a weight loss of 500 grams per week, approximately. For people that need less than 2000 calories per day, we subtract 25% to the calories they need. The goal of this diet, the moderately low calorie diet, is to lose between 450 and 500 grams of weight per week and to quit alcohol, sugar, fats, those food nutrients that are not really useful. And it always has to be more than 1200 calories per day. Then we have the very low calorie diets. These are for obesity over 35 kilograms per meter square. This is the body mass index over 35. But these diets can give us fatigue, weakness, and many more problems because the calories we're going to see now, they are very low. And they are not recommended for pregnant women, for old people, children, and adolescents. Indeed, only for obesity. They are mainly created with special formulations because it's very difficult to accomplish all the nutrients, especially the micronutrients, with so few calories. They always have to be less than 12 weeks and have a medical control in a hospital. And here is the diet. From 400 to 800 calories per day, so very low. That's my breakfast really. Proteins between 25 and 50% of the diet with a high biological value to prevent the lean mass loss. Total fats below 30%, the rest are carbohydrates, and fiber between 10 and 30 grams per day. Again, this must cover 100% of the recommended daily intakes for vitamins and minerals. On the other hand, we have the hypocaloric diets according to distribution. So you have to know that a general hypocaloric diet has 15-25% of proteins with a high biological value. Fats are between 25 and 35% with the cholesterol under 300 milligrams. Carbohydrates are between 45 and 55% and always more than 100 grams per day. Water is a lot, between 2 and 2.5 milliliters per calorie. This is, for example, if we eat a diet around 1500 calories, then we need to drink at least 3 liters of water. And then micronutrients, and this must be supplemented when the diet is lower than 1500 calories per day. Having that in mind, we can see the differences. So there are diets that are high in protein, high in fat and low in carbs, carbs being less than 20%. There are also diets that are low in fat from 20 to 25% and high in protein from 40 to 45%. And of course the rest are carbohydrates. And then we have diets that are very high in carbs, low in protein and low in fat. Low in proteins means 25 grams per day, not percentage, grams. And fat less than 10% of the calories. So what are the contraindications and side effects of hypocaloric diets? Contraindications, they are not indicated for pregnant women and during the lactation because they need the calories to support the child formation and growth. Children under 6 years old, they cannot follow hypocaloric diets because they need the calories and the nutrients for their development, especially the brain. Mental diseases also are not recommended hypocaloric diets, and of course not in the anorexia nervosa, because there is a problem there of a body image distortion, and therefore we are not going to promote a hypocaloric diet when a person is already limiting herself with the food she eats. And the side effects of a hypocaloric diet: lean mass loss and lowers the basal metabolic rate. There is a higher chance of acute gout attacks in the hyperurinemia individuals. Micronutrients deficiencies, because it's very difficult to find all the nutrients with so few calories. Increased risk of gallstones in older people. Higher risk of osteoporosis in women over 70 years old. Occurrence of eating disorders. Indeed, anorexia nervosa can appear if someone tries an hypocaloric diet. And also family and or social isolation, because in our society we meet to go out to eat, and therefore if you follow a hypocaloric diet, you are isolated from enjoying food with other people, because you're not going to be able to eat as much as you want. Okay, this is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you understood everything I said, and if you didn't, there is a comment section down below. Remember to like, subscribe and share this video to your friends and family to spread this knowledge to them as well. You can find this diagram in the description down below. By clicking the first link, you can download it for free. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao!